Hi guys, thanks for stopping by my channel today. I'm Marilyn, and on this video we're going to make a super quick, super easy craft. My craft's going to be inspired by Valentine's Day, but this project would work for any holiday or just general wall decor. So let me let you know what supplies I'll be using. Not all of these are necessary, it's just the way I'll do it, but I'll talk about some alternative ways as we go through. Okay, so the base of this is an 11 by 14 canvas board that I got at the Dollar Tree. So for next to nothing, you really get a lot of bang for your buck with that board. Then I have some fabric. I'm going to cut this on my Cricut Maker, but honestly, you could print out your design. It's going to be a super simple design, just 4 letters. You could print that and then use that as a template to cut your letters out. So even if you don't have a cutting machine, please don't think that you can't do this, because you can. Yes, it's more convenient with the cutting machine, but you can do it without. I got my fabric at Walmart, and I just grabbed one of those fat quarters that you can get for a few dollars. But let me tell you, even though these are really convenient to pick up, they're not always the most cost effective. If you go in and you look at the fabric on the bolt, you could just tell them, I want 6 inches or I want 12 inches, and you can get that. Then I'll be using the heat and bond. What I'll do is I'll adhere this to the back of my fabric before I cut it out. Then when it's time to hang it, I'll either use one of these 2 ribbons, maybe this wide ribbon, maybe something else. I'm not sure. I don't want to commit until I see it together. Then even though you see my Cricut Easy Press sitting here, heat and bond works perfectly fine with just a home iron. It's just that my Cricut's in here, so I might as well use it. So what I want to do now is go ahead and get onto the computer, make my design so I know how large a piece of fabric to put the heat and bond on the back of, and that way I don't waste extra fabric and extra heat and bond. Now before I move to the computer, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And then if you find anything in the video helpful or you just enjoy watching it, please give me that thumbs up. Okay, I'm in Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to do my entire project within Cricut Design Space today. A lot of the times I use Inkscape. It is preferred to me because I can save my images as an SVG, but this is a really simple project to do in Cricut Design Space, so that's what we'll do. Now I'm actually going to use a very simple image that I got off of Creative Fabrica, but I'm going to show you how you could replicate it right here in Cricut Design Space. Before I do, let me show you what it looks like. So I'll click Upload, Upload Image. Then I need to find it, so I'll click Browse. And here it is right here. I'm going to bring in the SVG version. So see how simple that is? Let's say Open and Upload. Now that it's in my uploads, I'll just click on it and add it to my canvas. So this is the image that I will use, but with this design, if you just wanted to use text, click on the text tool, capital XOXO, choose the font that you want, and you would have a very similar design. Of course, I would choose something else. Let's go to my system fonts. I would probably use something like this Arial Rounded. Then if you wanted to, you could ungroup them. And then you could kind of turn them if you wanted to. But again, in my case, I'm going to use the file that I got off of Creative Fabrica. I have a monthly membership. It's easy to use, and so I might as well take advantage of it. If you're interested in checking out Creative Fabrica, I'll put a link in the video description. If you haven't been a member, you can do a $1 trial membership. Check it out, cancel it if you don't like it, or continue at a discounted rate if you use my link. Okay, so enough for my shameless plug. Let's go ahead and move on. To see what size I want to make, I'm going to go to Shapes, click on the square, and then I'm going to have a shape to mimic my canvas board. So I have to hit Unlock. That way the proportions won't stay the same. And then it's going to be 14 by 11. Then I'm going to make it really light so it's more like my white canvas board. All right, let's go up to Arrange, send it to the back, and then I can see my design. So I think I need to zoom out a little bit. I really want to get this as large as possible And that's going to be too large. And then so that I can stretch it in the up and down fashion, I'll hit unlock. Then I can just pull it down like this. Now that's cute, but some of these pieces are really narrow. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go up here to offset, and I'm just going to try a really tiny, let's start with 0.05. Okay, I can go bigger than that. We'll do 0.1. Now notice, well, I undid it. Okay, let's go to 0.1. Notice how they're touching. I actually want mine to be 4 distinct letters. So let's cancel that out. Go back to the design and hit ungroup. This way I can spread them out. So I'm just going to spread them out a little bit. I can always move them back together if I spread them out too much. Then I'll go ahead and click on each one holding the command down and group those back together. All right, now let's go back to that offset and try 0.1 again. Too large, so let's try 0.08. Oh, okay. So here's why it looked like it was too big. When I did the 0.1, I didn't hit the return key on my keyboard. So let me go back to that and hit the return on my keyboard so we see what it looks like. Then if I like it, I hit apply. All right, so I'm going to add a 5, make it a little larger, hit return on my keyboard. And I like that. So I'm going to say, well, first of all, let me unweld. Okay, I'll go ahead and apply it. Now I'm going to drag this off and delete it. All right, do I like the spacing? It looks like that could go over just a little bit. Then one more thing. I don't really like how much those are leaning. Go ahead and straighten that up just a little bit. I'll do the same to this one. All right, let's go ahead and group those together. That way I can make them narrower. It's locked right now, I have to unlock it. Make those narrower so they'll fit, and taller. Okay, so that is my entire design. Isn't that simple? But I think it's going to look really cute. Now with the fabric and the heat and bond, you don't mirror this at all. You just cut it like this. Let me go ahead and get rid of my background. And then this lets me know that mine's going to be almost 13 inches wide. So I'm going to have to use my 2-foot mat instead of my regular mat. And a little more than 8 inches tall. So what I'll do is I'll cut my fabric at 14 by 9. I'm just going to use this cutting mat to do my measuring. So I'm going to give myself just a little bit extra. So I have it over the side and over the top. And remember, I was going to do 9 by 14. So I'm going to come down to 9. And then this ruler's only 12 inches long. So I know I need to go just a couple inches past it. Then I'm over at about the 14. All right, let's see if it's cut all the way through. Okay, I do not have quite a clean cut. I probably need a new blade. Boy, it's that bad. I know I need a new blade. Just gonna finish it off with the scissors. At this point, that seems like it's going to be a lot easier. Okay, so I easily have enough for another project. Then I happen to have the Ultra Hold. I don't know that you need the Ultra Hold. The regular hold is probably good enough. This is just what I have. Okay, so the way the heat and bond works, well, first of all, let me turn on my Easy Press, get that heating up. The way the heat and bond works is you have a rough, bubbly side. It's shiny. And then you have a paper side. So the first step is to put the bubbly side against the back of your fabric. Then you could use a Teflon sheet. You could just use like a towel. In my case, I have a Cricut Easy Press mat, so I'll put that down first and then my Teflon sheet. The instructions say that you just heat this on for 2 seconds. So I can tell I have a little excess there. So just to protect my Easy Press, I'm going to put a second Teflon sheet on top. Alright, so I want to make sure it's smooth. And then you don't need an extreme amount of heat for this. Right now my Easy Press is up to 200. So I'm just going to have it on there for a couple seconds and then move it over. Alright, let me see if that was enough to get it to adhere. And it definitely was. So I'll let that cool down. I wouldn't want to put that in my Cricut yet because the glue is still a little bit, it's just not cooled off, so it's kind of a little bit melty. And you wouldn't want that to get on your blade or to stick to your blade. So I'll let this cool off. It's only going to take a few minutes. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and get my Cricut set up here so that we can cut out the design. Okay, we're ready to send this to the maker, but before I do, I need to select my entire design and then say attach. Otherwise, it's not going to cut out exactly like you see it on the screen. So I'll go up here and say make it. And then remember I said I'd have to use my 2-foot mat, so I just need to say OK so that they know I've acknowledged that. Click continue. Then I'm going to have to pick my fabric. So I want to use the rotary cutter with this. And I know that if I use heavy denim or heavy fabrics like denim, not the bonded, but this one, that it's going to let me use my rotary blade. So I'll say done, and I'm ready to cut. Okay, so when I take this off my mat, I fully expect that the paper backing on the heat and bond is going to stick to the mat. I don't know that for sure, but that's happened before. Now, if the paper backing stays down, that's okay because we were going to have to peel it off anyway. Okay, so here's my O, and it's hard for you to tell, but the heat and bond is on the back. Maybe you can see how shiny it is. So I'll go ahead and remove the rest of these letters. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of place these where I think I want them. Okay, hopefully that looks good to you. That looks good to me. Now this time when you press it down, the back of the heat and bond should be against this. It says for about 8 seconds. Now it says to use medium temperature, so I set my heat press at 300. Honestly, I don't know if that's considered medium, but I think it's going to work nonetheless. Then I'm just going to count to 8. Then I'll move it to the other side. Now I am putting a little bit of pressure on it, but not a whole lot. So let's check and see if that stuck down. Okay, that feels really good. I don't really think I need to do it any longer, but I'm just going to rub it on there just to smooth it out in case there's anything that needs to be pushed down again. And then that's it. That's my entire project other than putting my ribbon on the top. So looking at my design with this Teflon sheet in the back, I really like kind of that khaki color with the red, the pink, and the white. And this is a pretty big sign. So I'm going to go with this ribbon, but I'm not going to go with it just plain. I'm actually going to sublimate an XO pattern down the ribbon. So first of all, let me figure out about how much length I need. Now this ribbon has wire in it, so the wire is thicker than the ribbon. So I found this measuring stick or the yardstick to be able to build it up so that when I press it, I get good pressure against the inside of the ribbon. So I basically took the exact same letters, made them smaller, and then printed out strips on a regular size piece of paper. I'm only going to need 1 to 2, maybe 1.5 of these strips, and I want to start with an X and end with an X. All right, I'm just going to roughly set this out. All right, so let's see how that came out. Oh, that came out really cute. Okay, I realized that I didn't have my sound on that entire time. This ribbon's 100% polyester, so you can sublimate on it. So I printed out my X's and O's, and I just sublimated them onto the ribbon. I heated it at 395 for 45 seconds. So now I want to put this on the back of my board, and I want these to be really angled so that it hangs correctly. You can see I have a little bit extra here. After I get it attached, I'll go ahead and cut off any excess. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to keep my ribbon where it is, put some glue all the way across, and then just barely have this over the glue. Then I want to push down on it really hard just so it attaches well. Then all I'll do is repeat on the other side. Now I don't have the same amount of spacing, so I'll probably take this one off, move it down just a little bit. It would be fine the way it is. That's just how I am. Then all I'll do is I'll flip it over, I'll cut off the excess, add a little bit more glue, and then I'm going to show you a picture at the end. Thanks so much for joining me today. Until my next video. Bye-bye.